And whoops, that was a mistake. I typed it in my calculator wrong. That should have been 1,410 for the total cost starting at anywhere. That's the nearest neighbor algorithm, but it kind of makes sense just to check every single possible circuit using this algorithm. That was called the repetitive nearest neighbor algorithm. Let's consider every possible starting location. Here we start at anywhere and return back to where we were. So let's consider every other starting location. Here, if we start at somewhere, we're going to pick the cheapest one is to anywhere. The cheapest route from anywhere to somewhere we haven't been, if you look at these three routes, is to Valhalla. From Valhalla, we only have two places we haven't visited. This one's 360, this one's 400, so we'll pick the 360 to the upside down. The cheapest one there is 180 to the Dark Abyss. And then when you're at the Dark Abyss, you need to get back to where you went, so you go 440 back to S. And this creates the series SAVUDS, SAVUDS. Similarly, if you're starting at Valhalla, what's the cheapest place you could go from there? Consider all four of these connections. The cheapest one would be to anywhere. From anywhere, this is still the cheapest link in the whole one, so whenever you can take it, you will. You'd go to somewhere for 120. Now, from somewhere, you only have these two you haven't visited, 350 versus 440. Easy choice. Let's go to the upside down for 350. 180 to the Dark Abyss is the only place you haven't been yet, and then you need to go back to Valhalla for 400. And just repeat the same thing, starting at the upside down. The cheapest way to go out of there is the Dark Abyss, then Valhalla, then anywhere, then somewhere, and back to the upside down. Starting at the Dark Abyss, the cheapest way out is to go to the upside down, then to anywhere, then to somewhere, then to Valhalla, then to the Dark Abyss. Again, so that one is actually just circling around the entire map. So if you compare these, though, you notice that the weight for this one is the cheapest. Why didn't we find that in the first place? Because in the first place, we picked from anywhere to somewhere and then Valhalla, but then the upside down was slightly cheaper. But the money we saved going this way directly, actually we made up for here because the sums of the weights there were less than here. You get the idea. But you just look at each of those and you figure out what your itinerary should be. So this one we get DUASVD. This one we get UDVASU. And VASUDV. Now all of these are circuits that include all the locations, so it doesn't really matter where you start because you could start at any of these. The point is this is the cheapest route. If you started at A, you just go to D, A, S, V, D, and then you're already at D, so UA if you started at A. This is still the cheapest circuit that hits every single possible location.